Good morning.
We're happy to be here, and I guess our job today is get you into the Christmas spirit. So we will see what kind of a job we do. Well, many of you know that we are the Delmarva Dulcimer Players, and we get together here at the Mac Center twice a month, and we really appreciate the Mac Center accommodating us so generously, and I'm going to have a clap and shout out.
Appreciate you.
I'm sorry?
We appreciate you all coming here.
Well, this is the least we can do for you guys, so we're happy to do it. We have a good time playing our instruments. The instruments that we're playing today are mountain dulcimers, and if you haven't ever heard of a mountain dulcimer or haven't ever seen one before, it's not surprising because its origins are in the Appalachian mountain regions of this country. And for those of you who are folk music fans, the name of the Ritchie family in Kentucky will mean something to you. And one of those families, they were all a bunch of musicians. And one of the family members, a woman by the name of Jean Ritchie, is credited with having this instrument heard and seen outside of the mountain regions. And I was thinking about this. It's been since the 60s anyway that it's been out and about, but it surprises me so many people that I encounter who've never heard of a mountain dulcimer, or if they've heard of one, they haven't ever seen it. So this is what we're playing today. Well, I guess it's time to get started here. So the first song that we're going to do is Jingle Bells, and what's most interesting to me about this song is that it was not written originally for Christmas. When it was published in 1857, it was a Thanksgiving song. And it seems appropriate to play. I mean, Thanksgiving wasn't too many days ago, so we'll play it anyway. It wasn't until decades later that it was associated with the repertoire of Christmas music that we had. So, Jingle Bells. change of pace. The next piece is Angels We Have Heard on High. This next piece is not a very familiar Christmas carol. It's not often heard. It's called I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. And it's from a poem by Henry Wordsworth Longfellow written in 1863. And it tells of the narrator's despair during the American Civil War when he heard the ringing of Christmas bells, and that hate really is strong and mocks the song, peace on earth, goodwill towards men. And the song ends with the ringing of Christmas bells offering renewed hope for peace among men. Two of our players will be singing three of the verses, Sharon and Deb. This next piece is very familiar to me, Away in the Manger. piece is an original arrangement by one of our players, and I'll let her tell you more about it. Deb?
This song is written by a songwriter whose name is Ed McCurdy. He lived from 1919, he was born in Pennsylvania, he died in the year 2000 in Canada. He was a children's entertainer, he was a folk singer, and he was a composer. He wrote this song in 1950 after he had an opportunity to meet Pete Seeger. And the message of this song rang true in 1950, it still rings true today.
Amen.
If you know it, sing along. Last night I had the strangest dream. I never dreamed before. I dreamed the world had all agreed to put an end to war. I dreamed I saw a mighty room, and the room was filled with men. And the papers they were signing said they'd never fight again. And when the papers were all signed and 1,000,000 copies made, they all joined hands and bowed their heads, and grateful prayers were prayed. And the people in the streets below were dancing round and round. And the guns and swords and uniforms were scattered on the ground. Last night I had the strangest dream. I never dreamed before. I dreamed the world had all agreed to put an end to war.
Okay, the next piece is a familiar Christmas carol, Joe First Noel.
Thank
Silent Night is our next piece, and the musical accompaniment will be played alongside or interspersed with a story that will be narrated by Sharon.
During World War I, French and English soldiers were facing German soldiers along a front that extended 12 miles. During the weeks preceding December 24th, 1914, both sides had suffered close to 1 million casualties. Even during Christmas Eve, the fighting continued all day. Then at midnight, a church bell in a town not far away began to ring out, announcing the arrival of Christmas Day. Suddenly, lights began to appear all along the German trench lines. The English assumed that the Germans were preparing a nighttime attack. The bugles rang out, sounding the alarm, and the English grabbed their weapons and rushed to the edge of the trenches. "Please, God, not today as well," an English soldier said. A still hush fell over the battlefield. When out of the cold night air, the English heard a most beautiful voice coming from the German lines, singing, "Silent night, holy night."
Yeah.
When the German soldier had finished the first verse, one brave English soldier stood and began singing the second. One by one, men rose up from their frozen entrenchments and began to join in until almost every soldier, German and English, were singing. When the chorus had stopped, one German officer started to walk towards the English line while waving a white flag. "Please, do not shoot me. We do not want to fight this day. I'm bringing you presents of drink and meat." An English officer then left his trench and walked toward the German. They met at the center of this field and saluted one another. They shook hands. Then each turned toward their own men, calling aloud that it was safe to come out. Slowly at first, the bravest men came out of the trenches and walked toward one another. Then it became a rush of men. The two sides crashed into their enemies, but not to fight, to hug one another. For the rest of Christmas Day, they spent the time together, sharing what food and clothing they had with one another. They sang and they laughed, and for that one day, they were friends. When the day was finished, each side returned to their trenches. An English soldier stood up from his position and called, "Merry Christmas and thank you." And then a German officer returned the greeting.
Fröhliche Weihnachten. Danke.
Then he fired 3 shots into the air and the war was back on.
This next piece is another carol that's not often heard. It's called Bring a Torch, Jeanette Isabella. And it's a Christmas carol that originated in 17th century France. And the song title refers to two farmhands who have discovered a baby and his mother in a stable on their farm. And they rush to a nearby village to tell the inhabitants and residents of the village about their exciting discovery. And somebody must have told Jeanette and Isabella to be sure and bring a torch so they can see. We're all putting capers on our instruments. Putting capos on our instruments because this song is arranged in the key of G, and most of all the others that we played today are in the key of D. This next piece is actually not a Christmas carol at all. It's a hymn, and it goes by at least two different names. One of it is Go in Peace, and it's also known as Traveler's Rest. And it has appeared apparently in various hymnals since the mid-1800s under various names, so you may recognize the melody as some other song. almost time for us to go, but before we go, we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a very happy and healthy New Year.
Amen. Same to you.
You.
Thank you.